Howdy guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at some blending modes for the fill and strokes, and this will be done within FlexiPRINT. But before that, let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Now if we head back into the program here, so like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be looking at layer modes or blending modes today, and this can be found in the fill and stroke editor. So if we go to the fill and stroke editor and we navigate to the last tab, if we hover there, you can see it says transparency. Okay, you can't see the whole thing there, but when you click that, it will give us two options, our blending mode and opacity. So now in order for this to work, you need something selected, and blending modes in general affect the layer under it. Or should I say, yeah, it's more prominent with the layer under it. So if I had to select this green, then when we do the blending mode, you'll see the effect happening on this orange layer. Where if I had to select this orange layer, you won't necessarily see it on the top layers. You might see it on the background with some modes, but in general, the way it's used is like a from top to bottom in the sense of the layer hierarchy. So the higher the layer, it will affect whatever's under it. So I'm going to select this green, and then we're just going to look at a few of these blending modes. There's a lot, so definitely play with them, but some of these do a very similar effect. So I'm just going to cover the most important ones. So the most important by far is normal. So this is the way a normal layer looks. So if you change it and you want it back, you must go to normal. Then we have darken. A darken and multiply will be similar, and lighten and overlay will be similar. So it's just important for now, darken. So if I click this, whatever behind it will go darker, depending on the value of the layer in front. So if my front layer here, if I had to open my color specs, select, not color specs, sorry, my color mixer. No, let's try that again. Here we go, my color mixer. I'm selecting the wrong one. If I had to select this and change it from RGB to HSV, now if I set the value down, it should, in essence, you'll see the back layer goes darker and darker depending on what the front one is set to. But for now, I'm just going to keep this on what it was. Select it to make sure. I'm just going to leave this color mixer open for now so we can play around with some other options. Now, similar to the darken, obviously if we go lighten, then whatever is behind it will go lighter. It's also a handy one. So imagine you've got a unique shape cut out, then you can actually lighten up area. Or let's say you've got a circle, you can light up the top, darken the bottom, then it looks like it's a bit more 3D and maybe some drop shadows or stuff like that, or just a normal shadow. Then another option we have here is we've got the hue. Now the hue and color is similar, except for the fact that the color, if I just set the actual saturation down and stuff like that, it would not act the same as the hue. So if I select the hue here, only thing is going to change if I go here to HSV again. So you can see we've got the hue here and the hue here at the bottom. So now if I had to adjust this, you'll see as I adjust it, the hue of the other back color changes. So like I say, once again, if you have a unique shape with a path tool, you can make some interesting outcomes. Now, if I had to just select the actual saturation, so the intensity of color, you'll see nothing happens until we hit at the bottom here. Then it'll just remove all color, but otherwise nothing will happen. If I adjust the value, so the brightness should I say, then also nothing happens until we hit 0. Where now if we had to change this one from hue to color, now we're going to see a few different changes. So now obviously the hue will stay the same if I change it, but let's say I change the saturation. Now you'll see as I change the saturation, it changes it on the back layer as well. And then likewise, as this layer becomes darker, it will change it to the new color, trying to adjust it, which is the main difference of those two. Then we obviously have saturation, which is like the color, but its only difference is this only affects the saturation. So I can throw this hue around, nothing happens. I can throw the value, nothing happens. But as soon as I throw the saturation lower, it will lower it on the object. So this is nice if you want to bring out little or remove too intense colors. You can always use stuff like this. Now there's multiple different ways you might want to use it, but in general this is the most important layer types. I'm just going to set mine back to normal and then show the last feature. Now the last feature here is opacity. Now for those that don't know, this will just set basically how see-through your object is. So the lower I set this, the more you'll be able to see through the object. Until it's 0, it'll be completely invisible. So this is nice. You can do like kind of a glass effect or, you know, anything in that line. Once again, I'm just going to set this back to 100, and that is the main option. So we've got blending mode, opacity. Blending mode, you can affect how that layer affects layers behind it, and then with opacity we can set the actual transparency of that layer. But yeah, otherwise that is it on those last settings on our color mixer. Our fill and stroke. In the meanwhile though, if we head here to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variation of softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your search on the top right. If you do not, however, find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request a training video, fill in the mini form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.